Well, without that top 10, 15 centimetres of soil, we wouldn't have any food, we wouldn't have any fibre, we wouldn't have any fuel, we wouldn't have fresh water.
Well, soils are the cradle, they're the panacea for all of our issues really. I mean, not only does the soil support environmental issues, there's a strong relationship with air quality, with water quality, with the sustainability of farming systems, with rural communities, and it's also the panacea, the basis for biodiversity. So it's an all-important, all-encompassing issue, the management of soils.
It's so important for us to retain the productive capacity that nature's provided. If we don't, it's going to be to our cost. The environment's going to suffer, and so are our economy's going to suffer. So the basic building block of life is provided by the soils, and that's why it's critical that we look after it.
Soils are really fundamental. They're the basis for terrestrial life. Most of the biodiversity on land has got a lot to do with soils, either living there or it's at some stage of the cycle is there. That's all the nutrient cycling, and plants need to grow in it. That's where our food and fibre comes from. So it's essential for humans to survive, and also essential for the other life forms on the planet.
If we don't look after our soils, we're just going to become I guess, deserts or unproductive areas, and the whole of society will suffer from that. Australia might have a lot of mining operations, but the basis of pastoral and cropping production is still so important to our export markets and to the overall economics of Australia's system.
The most obvious way of addressing climate change is improve your soils, because in the southern areas of New South Wales and Victoria, what they predict is going to happen is they're going to have dry autumns and dry winters. They won't have water to grow their crops or pastures. But if you can improve your soils and capture the predicted higher rainfall in the summer months, well, the water will be stored in the soil.
We may end up having another major phase of degradation because climates are changing, and the matching between the climate that we have and the management of the land is going to be changing as well. So we have a potential for a significant mismatch between what we understand about a soil and management in a particular location and the climate.
People live on the Liverpool Plains, you can tell they have a connection to those black cracking clays. People who live at Wagga have a connection to the red earths. So I think people have a real connection to soils, and I think it's because soils are such an important part of growing things and just the general environment.
I guess I'm passionate about soils because I consider them to be a fundamental part of our environment and the ecosystems that we rely on for just about our life, let alone our economy and most things that the modern day world needs to exist. And yet they've been undervalued, I think, for some time. And in fact, we still undervalue them. We call it dirt and we don't take any notice of it in many cases. But it is fundamental to our life and to the things that we all value.